Well, hello. Welcome everyone to Friends Like Us live stream. It's a Friends Like Us preview review of the podcast, my podcast Friends Like Us, which is this is not the podcast. I got to be clear. A lot of people think this is the podcast. This is like just a promotion for the podcast, the very weird promotion because it's a podcast for women of color, but there's no women of color ever on this promotional live stream. But welcome, everyone. Welcome. How are you? I'm Marina Franklin. If you didn't know, you should know. You should listen to the podcast. The podcast links are available. It's scrolling. I don't know how many ways to say it. It's scrolling. You know what scrolling means? It means it's going by underneath. See where the microphone is? Right around my chest area. Links available to the podcast here at Linktree, Marina Y. Franklin. And on that Linktree, you can get just about everything. You can get my comedy shows, where I'm going to be, all that. And of course, I have a website. This Linktree has all the audio you want for the podcast. I sound like an Irish girl right now because my Irish friend Lois is going to pick me up in a little bit. And of course, we know who she does not like. He will be on the show soon. But welcome everyone. I'm doing a little we always start early. If you're wondering why I'm on here now, it's because I start early so that I can grab the Facebook live because they have some, you know how these like platforms are. Everyone they don't want it. They don't want everyone to make money off of their platform. They want to own everything. So like Facebook is probably like, no, Melon. This is Melon. This is their platform. Melon, no. So we'll put your listeners, your viewers through a lot of pain. And then I'm also on YouTube. But YouTube is fairly easy. They will okay, she's picking me up. 6:15. Okay. So I don't know if you were here last week, but it got a little emotional with the Jusky. So let's see how he is today. It's going to be interesting. Evelyn is not here today because it is the end of summer. It is also the weekend. The holiday weekend is here. It's marking the end of summer. So everyone is realizing that the summer has come to a close and they're celebrating it by eating meat and being with family members. I think that's what's going on, right? So it's the holiday weekend, but I am still here for you. I'm not avoiding you. You are my friends. Yes. And it's hot outside anyway. I gotta be honest with you. Getting outside in this past summer, has been much more difficult than during the pandemic. Everyone is back in New York City, or as I call it, my city, not NY, but MY. Everyone's back in my city. And I don't know if I like it. I can't go for a bike ride like I want. I flew over my bike the other day because they put a speed bump perfectly small enough for me to fly over. And it's in the city's too. It's too many cars now, and you can't really. It's just risky. I felt it. I get like, I know things, so I just knew riding the bike in the city now that everyone is back is no longer safe, and I miss it. I miss riding my bike in my city. So I don't know. Did you have a good summer? I'm going to ask you. What did you do this summer that was spectacular? What did you do? And then I'm not looking at the text right now because I'm trying to focus and get these thoughts out to you. But if you aren't listening to the podcast, do. This week's episode and last week's episode were some of my favorite episodes. We have a friend, Memo, who talks about land rights in, yes, my city, New York City. We talk about land rights. We talk about gentrification. We talk about the corruption that is Amazon. and how he fought. Little memo, fought Amazon. Well, a bunch of people fought Amazon. And, a lot of people were just like, oh, come on. Why can't we have Amazon here? So he explains it on that episode. So you want to listen to that. And also the current episode that I have on right now with Nitika Chopra and Lily May. Adria is on there. And it is an excellent episode about taking care of yourself, taking time to take care of yourself. Do you do that? Did you do that this summer, or did you just get back to work? What did you do? Essential oils. She has soaps. I've talked about it on here several times that when I go to the farmer's market, I go to Lily May Aromatherapy. Lily May Aromatherapy. I'll put it in the chat later. Don't let me forget. And you can also listen to it on the episode. You can hear her talk about all of her products, why they're necessary, why they're good for you, why they're better than that soap you get from the store that has all that dye and all that stuff in it you don't need. And also about black soap, how, it's really good for you, but now they're reprocessing it here in the United States. It's a really great episode. And Nitika talks about Chronic Con, which is about people who are suffering from chronic illnesses and how it's a society of people where they can get together, talk, about pain. A lot of people avoid that conversation. A lot of people, we saw that during the pandemic. A lot of people were just like, yeah, I'm okay. So life is great. But Chronic Con is a society of people who really work on feeling better. It's not a cure, but it's relieving the pain. It's healing through community. Yes. If you see me pausing, it's because I'm trying really hard not to say, I say that so much in my podcast. You have no idea how much I edit out. I say, because a lot of times when I'm talking, I'm not sure if people understand me. So I'm always like, all right, let's see what you're saying here. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hello, Sadiq. Hello. Hello, TB. Yes, you're always there when we're recording live. Thank you so much, TB, for being there. It's kind of cooler day here in Oregon. Oh, high 70s. Oh, that sounds nice. D is talking about narcissism. I don't know. Sounds like social crutches to me. What's going on? Where did we go? I can't remember what I just said. Hello, Celeste. Oh my God, Celeste, you're here. Are you going to be here for the picnic? Lil Ray's final picnic in the Brooklyn Park. Are you going to go? I'm going to be flying back in from Michigan. If you know anyone in Michigan that loves comedy and lives near Grand Rapids, Michigan, I'm going to be there at the Grand Rapids Comedy Club. Yes, I'll be there. I'm going to put that link in the chat so that you can see it. Oh, you're booked in Atlanta? Oh, that sounds like fun too. I mean, Lil Ray does it every year, so he'll be all right. And plus, we know how I won't say. But I'm glad you're booked. Because you were rocking it last year. Well, you weren't rocking it. You were housing it. Because you are. If any of you see Celeste, she's on here right now. She's through Facebook. But Celeste is a queen. House DJ. Yes. Celeste Alexander. Oh my God, you just left Michigan last weekend near Grand Rapids. Do they have a good club I could check out while I'm there? Is it like we will call you the first lady of house? Yes, we will. I know there are some that want to come for your throne, but we won't let them, Celeste. We will not let them. House heads unite and make Celeste the first lady of house music, as she well deserves and is. Okay, so is there any house music in Grand Rapids or in the area? I mean, I'll try. I don't know. Monique Bingham is a singer. She's not a DJ, D. So, I don't know. You look like you're having a lot of fun being disruptive today already, D. Watch yourself. You know how I like to block people. No, I will never block you, D. I did a house music glamping event in Idlewild. You did. Oh. Oh, yes. And D Celeste is a DJ, so she already knows. We already know about Monique Bingham. Monique Bingham is, yes, she's beautiful, beautiful singer too. Amazing. Oh my god, I love her so much. So I will be there Thursday through Saturday performing, headlining at the Grand Rapids Comedy Club there. I put it in the chat so you can check it out. If you know someone there who may want to go see live comedy show and wants to come see me, please tell them to come out, because crosstown is several white guys they can see, but why not see a beautiful, talented black woman like Marina Franklin? Yes, she's glorious. At the Grand Rapids Comedy Club next Thursday. This Thursday. That's this Thursday. That's the 8th, 9th, and 10th. 2 shows, Friday and Saturday. 1 show Thursday. It's going to be a good time. I haven't worked this much in a while. I'm going to be exhausted. Jesus, I'm going to be exhausted. Oof. So I'm going to pretty soon let in my friend. I'll give him a couple. I see he's fixing his hair in the back in the green room. He's tightening up his shirt. He's got a V-neck on. What is that? Is that a button down? Anyway, I do want to say welcome all of you to another preview and review of the Friends Like Us live promotion of my podcast, Friends Like Us. This is not the podcast. Once again, the podcast is in that link below. This is just me chilling with some white friends to discuss my women of color podcasts. Oh my god. Hair in the back? Oh. That is that's a flower. Sunflower. Is that what you're talking about? Oh no, Mister. I'm not going to define house music. House music is a spiritual thing that you have to discover on your own time. I'll tell you what, go to Spotify or you know what? Better yet, Celeste, put something in the chat to give them. Yeah, Google is free. Put something in the chat so that he could do his research on his own time, because I ain't got time. Because listen, when I go boxing and I play house music, all the men want to get upset because I've taken a break from the angry rap, the gangster rap. I do little dance moves, little jazz with my sweet knuckles. And they're like, how long are we going to deal with this? Anyway, are you ready? Here we go. We're going to bring the man. He's not the myth, unfortunately. Not a legend. But he is hilarious. He is so friendly. Give it up for David Juskow.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. You can hear me, I assume, right? I set up my computer different, so I'm making sure everybody can see and hear me.
Yeah.
I have my camera in a different place now, so.
I see. It's what is going on? Like, what? We don't get to see the games?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't on purpose.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to move it.
I know. I don't have mine anyway. My camera broke, so I had to get a new one, and I got a new desk. It's like a 72-inch desk, so everything's up higher now.
Oh.
So I'm still getting used to it.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
How are your legs swinging?
No, I need a higher chair, so they do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Then you get the higher chair, and hopefully it's not too high. That's what I did. The chair that
Yeah.
I'm on right now, I have little footstools underneath so that I could rest my feet.
Oh, you do? So you got a high chair. I'm trying to, I mean, high chair, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you order a chair that goes higher to make sure that it does. It's hard to figure out the wording you have to use on Amazon or something, you know?
Well, I have a really expensive chair.
I want to get an expensive chair.
It's actually from Michigan. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but this is like Herman Miller.
Oh, well,
The
I want to
chairs
get
are
I
like
want to get
$700.
Oh,
They're
I don't
very
want to get that.
expensive.
I just want to get like a $200
I had
gaming
to write
chair.
it off my taxes.
Something that looks unbelievable. Because right now I have to sit up straight because the desk is up too high.
It's an emotional thing when you go. This is when you realize how important math was in school.
I suppose so. But yeah, I got this thing because right now I have all my monitors in one place. You know, I have three different monitors, and I can fit a fourth on this thing, and I put it together myself.
Oh, you did. Oh,
I know I was very
what a
impressed with my.
day.
I know. Well, it took me like a week.
Do you remember when my computer broke down during the pandemic? How stressed I was. Do you remember that?
No,
You don't. I could have sworn I called you and you were like, "I can't believe you're doing this." I had to
doing what?
I had to put my computer back together. I had it overheated.
Well, I don't know how you. I mean, first of all, how does? Oh, you mean because you have a desktop too, right?
I have a desktop. I love desktops.
And how old was it that it overheated? I mean,
It's not old. It was what it is. It's a gaming
yeah,
computer.
that I have the same thing. I got mine in
Oh, that's right.
2020, but it
Yes,
fortunately never overheated because
because
that's the
they
worst.
gave
And I got a
me a
bunch of stuff.
faulty fan.
Oh, that's I do now. I remember that because
Now,
I would be upset if they did that to me.
you remember how angry I was, and I had the girl, and she had a little attitude. She's like, "Well, if you're gonna get like a computer you don't understand, maybe you shouldn't get
What a
a."
bitch! Oh, that
I
would
know.
be
I was so angry, and I
me
tried
off too.
several ways to complain about her, and I couldn't. It was a pandemic, and everyone was just shitty.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Stace. What up,
Nice
Stace?
days. I guess her wife is in the tub.
Dave is leveling up.
That's
Bravo.
right.
Exuding confidence, even.
Levels, Jody.
Whoa.
Levels.
Ooh.
You're going to Michigan, huh?
I am. I'm going to Grand Rapids, Michigan,
On
and
Thursday? This Thursday?
this Thursday. And the only reason I
Are
didn't
you out of your
promote it,
mind? This
why?
Thursday's opening day.
For what?
For what? For what? The NFL.
Oh, I
Football
don't know.
starts Thursday.
Well,
Hello.
well, isn't there a TV I can watch? I mean,
No.
well, I'll tell you, I was booked at this for a while, and they had the dates and the on the website all mixed up. So I'm just now promoting it. Sorry, but they didn't have, and they bumped me from one theater because Rob Schneider is there.
That guy, from what I've heard, is the worst person.
Shh.
Oh, I can say it. You didn't say it.
And so basically, they moved me from that theater to, but it's a great theater. The Grand
Oh,
Rapids Comedy Club is pretty good.
Stace says
It's,
Bobby's right here. I know that's usually when she takes a bath. That's why I wasn't being rude. I just
oh shit, they're
after
having brunch.
yeah. Usually at this time they take a bath, or Bobby takes a bath, and Stace watches the show.
Not this time.
Not this time, apparently.
They're having
Well,
brunch.
it's a big 3-day weekend, so it's not a normal Saturday. It's a good day for brunch.
Yeah, not this time.
You know what? I'm gonna try and get Marina's one of those mics that I can put up so it's hanging from here.
So it looks like you have a penis hanging on your forehead, because that's
Yeah.
usually what it looks
Now
like.
that you're mentioning that, now I don't want it. Shit.
You look fine. By the
No.
way, let's get right into it. Have you seen the news about Tiffany
No.
Haddish?
Oh, about Tiffany Haddish? No.
It's really upsetting.
Well, what is it now besides getting a bar mitzvah?
There's a lawsuit. There's a woman who is claiming that, well, allegedly that she molested her daughter and son with Aries Spears.
Wha-
There is a video that is circulating of them doing a sketch where they have two little kids. One's naked in his underwear, and the video is actually, you can see it. I did see it. And they're doing a sketch. They're trying to do a comedy sketch
Yeah.
about pedophilia, and
Right.
they're using kids in it. And that this is like, apparently the kids are now like grown, and they're like saying how upsetting it was and
Oh,
disturbing.
that's not fair. That's on the parents then.
No, no, no. The parents is also,
Yeah, now.
you got to read the article, and you got to see the video,
Listen, it
man.
makes no difference to me if Tiffany Haddish is in some sort of trouble, but and Ari Spears, I believe, is always in trouble. So I don't
Did
know,
I say
but
Ari Spears?
yes, you did say that.
Oh yeah, from Mad TV, right?
I don't know,
Did I say,
but
wait, am I saying the right guy?
I don't know. But
Sorry.
what I'm saying is, these kids now, now they're upset. Their parents were probably thrilled. They were in a sketch at the time. That's
Oh no,
the
no, no, no,
issue.
no. This is different. This
Well,
is you.
how is it different? What, they didn't get
I'm
the
gonna
script
show
beforehand?
you. I'm gonna show you how it's very different.
Well, I'm sure she'll get away with it. She's
I
beloved.
I have to tell
I
you,
used to like her a lot before she cut her hair.
this is a little tricky
You know how I
one.
feel
This
about
is
that.
the Daily Beast. Okay, you
Daily
got to
Beast is the
read this
best.
article. Yeah, Aries Spears. Um, you really, you
The
get
sibling's
really.
mother was immediately alarmed when she received a phone call crying for her son. Received Haddish did little to reassure her. I don't understand. She said something, I don't think acting is for him.
Wait, it's too. It's
And then she
too.
said, what the fuck you mean acting isn't for him?
Well, you gotta read the stuff. I don't usually do investigative journalism, right?
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I don't usually go this deep in, but this was in
During
my
their
Twitter feed.
childhoods, and her younger brother say they called Tiffany Haddish Auntie Tiff. The comedian had met their mother through the comedy plaintiff, who is minor siblings, fellow, recruited each of them to perform inappropriate acts on camera when they were children. What kind of inappropriate acts? So you said you saw the video. What are you talking about?
It's pretty bad. It's
Like,
pretty. It's so disturbing. I don't even want to show it.
but the
It's
parents were okay with this.
no. The parent didn't know. She
How did
wasn't
they not?
there.
How did they get children
She
if their
wasn't
parents
there.
didn't know?
I'm gonna say this: the parent is responsible for not being there, but the parent, so apparently the mother had a relationship with Tiffany, trusted her. Tiffany said, I want, and Ari, they said they wanted to do a sketch. They they said, your two kids want to do this commercial. She didn't tell them what the sketch was about. The kids come to the house. The sketch is about pedophilia. There's like, here, uh,
So wait, hold on, because it just says the Mad TV star. I thought it was for a minute. In the summer of 2013, when James, the lawsuit states she attended a comedy camp where Haddish appeared as a guest speaker. So it's found a perfect role for her.
So neither Jane nor her mother knew what the shoot would entail, according to the lawsuit. So only Haddish and Spears, who was also on the hand to produce the video, are said to have known the plot. The clips Spears and Haddish asked Jane to watch seemed innocuous at first, if a little strange. A group of co-eds were arguing over a Subway sandwich, but then the co-eds began eating the sandwich in a suggestive manner from the opposite ends, moaning and making sexual noises as they both ate the sandwich. Now, the complaint claims that Spears told Jane to mimic what she had seen on the screen, including the noises precisely like she heard throughout the video. And the 14-year-old, who was allegedly nervous and disgusted, fell silent. Now, Haddish verbally explained what,
Are they trying to say that Tiffany showed them a porn before this
no,
happened?
she's trying to get them to, she tried to get the young girl to do fellatio, like mimic fellatio.
I understand, but it says something that they saw something to imitate this. So I'm wondering if she showed them porn, then I maybe
No,
see the
it's
issue. But
no, the kid is naked, Juskow. You
why is the
can't,
kid
you
naked?
cannot have kids. First of all,
Why would they think that was a good plan?
this is right. This is the
Right,
argument,
this is I'm
right?
just trying to figure it out
So
because
Funny or
that's
Die, they
really
sent the
messed up.
this is my argument, right? First, I'm going to say this before I continue. I just want to remove this from the before I continue. I love Tiffany Haddish, and I actually feel this is. I mean, people are going in, but I actually feel bad for her in this situation because I do feel on some level like she grew up really rough, and there is an environment that she grew up in that maybe she didn't know this. How you don't know this is not a good idea. It's debatable, but so I feel like this is messy. This is really messy, and
I mean,
but
if you're saying
when it involves children,
yeah, but if you're saying that if she grew up in an environment that is somewhat like this, I'm picturing Whoopi Goldberg in The Color Purple. Remember when she told that girl, like, or the guy, like, if you're not happy with her, you have to hit her because that's all she knew. Remember her
right, right,
character?
right, right.
Maybe is that what you're saying? That
In a sense, yes. And it's also like, and this is not just cultural, this is also like this, look at the Catholic Church. I think overall, our treatment of children, hands down, is awful and dreadful. And children are not protected in society overall, right? But in this particular circumstance, I think they had made bad judgment about what they thought would be funny. And it was grossly like it's so disturbing to see. And then what happens is Funny or Die did get the video, and they were they were like, absolutely not.
oh, so they sent the video. It was only supposed to air on Funny or Die. They sent the video to Funny or Die, and Funny or Die was like, "Are you out of your goddamn mind?"
Yeah.
And then you have so you've seen the video.
I seen a portion, it's on Twitter, yeah. It's like you see a little boy, he's naked,
Is
except
he
for his
naked or does he just have his shirt off?
he has his shirt off and his underpants, and the camera zooms in his on his butt and his yeah, in those areas. The camera zooms
Well,
in. You can't do that with kids. You can't. You can't have kids in
uh,
their underwear on videos. You cannot do that, Juskow. Did
I
you
don't
think
know.
you could?
Sometimes I mean,
You know how we kids are like okay with their nakedness, but adults on social media, they can't process it. There's pedophiles out there. So you can't. Like I have pictures of my niece. I will not put up, if she is, and I really like one time I think I showed one here where she's like in her pajamas, and I was like, I don't even know if I should put that because you can't control this crazy world that's out there. They're
well,
sickos.
this is what I say to parents all the time who continually, as last week, put up uh, pictures of their kids at college and where the college is and which dorm room it is, especially girls. And they're almost sexy pictures of their kids going to college. I don't think I'd ever put up a picture of where my kids going to school on social media. If they want to put it up, that's different. But I am not setting it up for somebody to, that girl's really hot or whatever the case may be. I'm going to go up to Syracuse and see what's going on over there. Maybe I'll run into her.
But it's not the actual location of the dorm, though, right?
Yeah, they give. Hey, she's in this Reuben Hall at this place.
Oh
Some
yeah,
people
no, I
do.
would
Some people are
not. Yeah.
idiots, and they just say, "Oh, you're really excited to be in this, in this at this college in this dorm." I mean, you can. I just I don't. For me, I mean, boys, it's different. But if I had a girl, I would never post that on social media because we brought my nephew to college last week, and I don't think he's a boy, so it's different, but I don't think my sister posted anything. We're both like, why would anybody do that?
Oh, Mark David has a very interesting question that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. He goes, at Mark, after all this time, why do you still call her your assistant? Isn't she key part of the show?
I
Um,
saw that. I was trying to ignore it, so
do you want
it
to
is.
take it?
I, I'm just saying, you're talking which. assistant are you talking about? Because you do refer to both of them as your assistants all the
I have
time.
so
And
many assistants. I
I'm
have like
always,
3.
I gotta say, I'm always a bit surprised that you still refer to them both as your assistants. And we know, you and I know where they're your assistants, but I think when you're doing this, you should just call them friends at this point.
Because I think they need to know that they do good work, and I think it's funny for people to know I have assistants. I do have
Well, that is
several.
hilarious.
And she is my assistant actually. And this she isn't part of the podcast, which I have
Who are
to
you talking about?
clarify. A lot of people think this is the podcast.
No, but who are we talking about? Who's the?
They're talking about Evelyn.
Oh, they're talking about Evelyn. Okay, gotcha.
But a lot of people think this is the podcast. So I have to clarify. This is not the podcast.
What does that have to do with your assistants?
Because they're like, they think this is the show, and they don't understand I have assistants for the actual podcast, and I have them on.
Wait, you
This
have
YouTube.
other assistants besides the two we've met on this show?
I have one more, yeah. I have to.
People, that is fucked up, right? I mean, who the hell is Marina Franklin have 3 assistants?
I need my
mean,
coffee
we
when
love
I need
Marina.
it, sir.
And Marina is one of the greatest comics I have ever seen.
I
But
need
to
my
have
coffee
3
now.
assistants.
Where?
Sarah Silverman only has 1.
She needs 2 more.
Who, Sarah?
Yes, I should talk to her and get her to get some more.
Oh, you're saying she needs 2 more? That's so funny. She's always had 1 assistant, and she just always refers to her by her name. Not her
Movies used to have kids in their underwears all the time, and I really wouldn't have done that. And I would not be surprised as recently as a
true.
few years ago, Disney or Nick would have kids in their underwear very well. They can't do that. And years ago, we also trusted pastors, okay, in the Catholic Church. So I don't know. All these things are congruent.
Oh yeah, Mark David, I understand what you're saying. We none of us feel any harm as Marina. We know Marina doesn't mean any harm or disrespect, but I think she just said it perfectly. I think it's funny that I have assistants.
Yeah, so Mark,
it fucking is.
Deal with it. It's not going away anytime.
And I think that both of those girls know exactly how you feel about them, so it doesn't really matter.
You're cheating with your assistants. You chew time and hussy.
Plus, the reason I was so angry at Evelyn that one time is because I was feeling she wasn't. I think they both appreciate that they get to work with you, kind of a legend in comedy, and that was that one time I got upset where I felt Evelyn wasn't appreciating, what you were doing for her, and that was the only. And when I say upset, I mean,
she didn't understand
she didn't
the gravity,
the gravity, the magnitude,
yes,
right? Exactly. That you.
We also just came out of a pandemic, so
yeah.
So just so I want to be clear again, this is the promotion for my podcast, which is called Friends Like Us, which is nothing like this. The Friends Like Us podcast features women of color. Why Dave Juskow is here to promote it is anyone's guess, but it's fun and it's funny. Okay. And so every Saturday, I come on my YouTube live with my assistant, Evelyn Frick, which everyone from the actual podcast understands and knows. And she comes on to help me promote the podcast. And she does things like read reviews, which she's not here today.
I'll be doing that today.
Juskow will be doing this. Okay. Enough. All right. Over it, in, out.
Whoa.
Now, Robin. Hello, Robin. It's good to see you here.
Robin Biddlebub.
Yes, from Sweden, I believe.
Robin Biddlebub.
And is saying hello back. And saying that the
Sweden?
2 of us, that's a novelty.
She
yes,
must
it
be
is.
so hot.
Everybody
from Sweden is so sexy.
I forget. Robin, it's been a while. Sorry. I think it's
a boy. I think they're hot too, though. That's the weird part. Everybody from Sweden is good looking, the men and the women.
So I am going to be in Michigan, Holland, Michigan. No, not Holland, Michigan. I'm going to be in Grand Rapids. I was going to be in Holland, Michigan, and then they moved it to a different theater, and they fixed the website so that
you get no respect.
I get nothing. I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma last weekend performing it. Do you know the story of Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I felt bad. I only know it from the Watchmen series on HBO.
No, you know what? You're not the only one.
And I didn't know that was for real. And then I looked it up and saw it was for real.
There's so many stories like that. Tulsa was actually one of the last stories like that.
Mm.
That's the thing is like when they say CRT, this is what they're afraid of is they don't want people to know this stuff. And here's the thing, you have to know your history so you don't repeat it. And the thing is to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma and to do a comedy show and have it literally 5 minutes, like maybe like a 5 minute walk from where I was performing was a little heavy. This is where it was a successful Black Wall Street. They had Black ownership. They had their own banking system. They
And
had
this
a
in the
very
1920s?
1920s. They had a very they had their own like everything. It was a
How
very
did that even
successful.
happen?
Here's the thing. That's the story that we don't know.
Oh.
We need to know it. We need to know how did that happen? And you see, when we talk about like when people say, "Oh, Black people are handed things," or Black people have welfare, or they just want to sit around and be lazy, you have all of these
I didn't say that
examples.
out loud.
You said, "Oh, you jerk."
I
So the thing
know. See what I
is,
did there?
if you have only one
Sorry about
idea
that, Robin.
of the Black community and you don't know these stories, that's all you know. You see the destruction. You don't see what caused the destruction. You don't see the years that caused that destruction. And Tulsa is an example of Black people trying to have their own, trying to do their own, trying to achieve, and they burned it down because of one white woman saying that some Black guy was rude to her or hit her, and it was a lie. And they killed over 300 Black individuals, if not more, and then burned down the whole Black Wall Street.
So
These
you're saying that
motherfuckers.
there were
Sorry.
Karens even back in the 1920s?
Bad joke. Where's the horn?
There was no joke. I'm saying it's obviously a Karen,
Yeah,
but it
well,
is.
it is a
It's some
situation.
horrible twat
Karen
that.
is the results of years of, yes, white woman tears, but this is like,
But she did the exact same thing that a Karen did to that poor guy in the park. She
well,
did the exact same
that
thing. She
guy,
just did
she
it.
was just talking about birds. They actually killed three,
Yeah,
like
I know,
more,
but it all
if not
started
more.
by some horrible woman that was just afraid of Black people or whatever.
Yeah. So here the thing
That's
is
awful.
like, yeah. So here's the thing is like you change your dialogue when you have conversations with people when you know your history. So when you see that there's several stories about Black people trying to progress, trying to have their own, trying to have better, like Jessica, you always said when you came to Harlem, you noticed how it just was poor. It's a poor neighborhood. You notice the disparity between your neighborhood and
Like in
across
Queen, like
110th.
so I make fun of Astoria too.
Yeah, Rosewood is another one. So that is on purpose. This is what I'm saying.
On purpose.
That's not an accident. That's not Black people doing that to their own
You're saying
neighborhood.
because of Tulsa that they keep it that way, so people don't. Well, that's brilliant if that's true. I
Well,
never heard of such a thing.
you've heard of redlining, right?
No, only
Redlining is when you keep certain people in certain neighborhoods can't get credit, can't get credit cards, can't get home loans. You
no, I
never heard
never
of
heard of
that?
that. No,
Yeah. So this is what.
I mean I can't get a credit card. Does that mean
Well,
that I'm?
that's a different
Oh, that's
situation.
different.
You're
That's
like
just being a jackass.
there's no hope.
Right.
You have no excuse.
No.
Motherfucker. You
I'm
have
just bad
no
with,
excuse.
I'm bad with money.
But it was weird. The intent, yes, Mister, yes. They intentionally hide Black Wall Street and the hundreds of other ones we built.
Just
That's
like what you're
right.
saying. That's so interesting. I never knew that.
You didn't see the Tom Hanks video where he was like, I am furious that I am just now learning this. And how old is he? I mean, I just learned it.
About what?
Tulsa.
Oh, the Tulsa thing.
I'm like,
And
look,
so, and the way we kind of all learned it was by watching the Watchmen series
yes,
on
some people
HBO.
watch it through Watchmen. There's another movie that captures it.
I think they made it after Watchmen. Like I think they made it afterwards. I saw something
I
about
think
it.
there was something even before it. There's been several examples.
Dude, that's
Chef
brilliant.
Hanks,
Chet
yeah,
Hankins
Chet
sucks.
Hanks. Oh
What
my
a
god,
tool. That guy's the worst.
I had to block him. So anyway, but the thing is like while I was there it was eerie. I don't know if comparison to you maybe going to, Germany or, seeing, but it was very like
I can see that.
I felt it. Like I was like, I'm here doing jokes for who? And I stayed in a historic hotel in Tulsa. I'm like, what's historic? And then I stayed in this hotel. It was called I still have the key. It was called
The one and only.
The Mayo Clinic,
Oh, weird.
the Mayo Hotel. And it's a museum of old white owners in Tulsa. So you see, like, on the wall, all of the owners, like, you know how they have the shovel and they're like, hey. So I asked a woman when I went to Black Wall
Shovel.
Street, you know how they show they have like a lot of money and they're like digging dirt and they're like, look, because it's
What?
oil. It's oil
Mm,
country. It's oil.
okay.
Okay. Stay with me. Stay with me, Jessica. You can handle it. Come on. Uh-oh. I know that look.
No, I'm listening.
So
I was just thinking of Black Wall Street.
it's so sad. So here's the thing. I asked the woman right before I drove to go back to New York. I was buying t-shirts. I mean, that's all I could get because I was there and I was
T-shirts of
leaving.
your own self and your performance.
No, no, no. I
You're
got
buying your own
t-shirts
merchandise.
about Black Wall Street. I went there to talk to some of the women who still live there in the museum that's right across the way. And I said, I'm staying at this hotel and I see all these pictures of these white owners and the it's like a very nice historic hotel, but it's like, did they have anything to do with this burning of Wall Street? And she said if they were a white owner in 1920, yes, all the white owners got together, the police, and they burned down Black Wall Street. And I said, "Oh my god." And I just stayed there.
And they killed everybody too? Was that necessary? Couldn't you just drive them out of town? Why'd they kill everybody? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing the Jews have over the blacks is like is we were all slaughtered. At least usually with the blacks, you just run them out of town.
No, they always killed. They killed children too,
Yeah,
babies.
no, I know because I saw it in the thing, but I don't understand why. I just don't understand being that angry. I don't know.
Well, that's why we have to know it so we don't repeat it because
And that
January
right,
6th.
and how they can all get together and nobody stopped it. I mean, it's just
Look at
like.
January 6th though.
But if you're talking about 1920, I mean, that was even before the Holocaust. And how we never heard of it. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. It
Now you
is
see what you're saying about Tom Hanks. I mean, I'm just thinking about it now, and it's even before, and it happened here in this country, not somewhere else.
and several times.
That
It's
I can't.
And
That's
you're
really.
talking about black communities that
Well, now I'd like to know more
were
about it in the
thriving
sense of how it was covered up all this time.
because look what Mr. Noy said. They killed because they could and not be punished. And that's true. It's like the law. So, when you talk about defund the police and where the roots of it come from and why black people hate the police, this is what we're talking about. The police were part of this destruction of this community and several communities. So there's always history. What is this? Mr. Noise. Did you know the Gap Band was comprised of Tulsa native Charles, Ronnie, and Robert Wilson for their name? The brothers drew inspiration from 3 streets in the former. Oh, I did not know that. Black Wall Street. Oh, Mr. Noise, thank you for that. Thank you. Uh-oh, Mr. You got someone coming for you because Mr. Noise got more facts. So yeah, that's interesting. Thank you. Anyway, so yeah, it's a heavy topic, but I will say this: it was weird doing stand up there. I asked the
Yeah.
comedians. I said, "Does anyone talk about this on stage or anything?" And they were like, "No, no." And then I was on stage and I said something about and my ancestors, and I was like, and everyone was like, and I was like, y'all know what I'm talking about, motherfuckers. Yeah, so it's like it's sad that I think the Jewish community does a good job, and I think there is a different history that allows you to share your history.
But it's true. But I was thinking at the time, nobody here knew exactly what was happening, until the war was over. Did anybody even know? how intense it was. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, and could you imagine if today well, they still do try to say you have Holocaust deniers,
but
right?
that of course that's well, I'm sure there must be Tulsa deniers as well. I guess at this point, and
At the yeah.
there must have been for all these years. But you know what's crazy is right now there's a trial going on. They're trying a secretary, a 90-something-year-old secretary who was a secretary during the Holocaust for somebody in Warsaw or something like that. And they have a woman who saw the secretary, something like this. But they prosecute all these people in their 90s. And if you're prosecuting a secretary, you're really grabbing at straws, I mean, I I can't imagine this woman was comfortable with what was going on, but as a person who's been a secretary before, I mean, this is so not the same thing, but it's like sometimes you read about your boss doing horrible things like taking money from Argentina and when they are going bankrupt because you're on the other side and there's nothing you can say because you want to keep your job. Well, it's got to be even worse because if you say anything, you're going to get killed. So I don't know why prosecuting a secretary is, it really, it seems
I just got
like a waste of
coffee.
time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I was delivering the mail. Who knew? But
Well,
the thing is,
that's what they say. She must have known. But what is she supposed to do? Of course, she probably knew. What is she supposed to do? That was one secretary supposed to take on the fucking Third Reich.
yeah, and a lot of these stories, you got to ask yourself, what would I have done?
And I say that all the time because I say, what would I have done? And I feel like I've been in a much smaller situation as somebody who is watching somebody do something bad, but I'm afraid to lose my job. And
Yeah.
so I will tell you exactly what I would have done. Nothing. I'm just as bad as anybody else.
I
I'd be
thought about that.
terrified. I'd be terrified for my family, maybe,
Yeah.
and my own self.
It's a tough that's why when my sister was talking about tennis players like Serena Williams, like this is her last
No, it
this
was
is
last night. It was over.
last night,
Did you
and
watch?
I did not. I was at the
Boy,
cellar.
she pushed it to the brink. It was really,
She
really
was
something
great,
else.
right?
Yeah.
But my sister was talking about was it Arthur Ashe and how is it am I saying I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's the one that the
Yeah.
stadium's named after. Yeah.
Or yeah, and then she was also talking about Muhammad Ali, like athletes who are real goats in the sense of
Sure.
the fact that Muhammad Ali he went to jail for his belief.
Muhammad Ali was so fucking cool, but of course, when you're built like that, it's a little easier to be. But he was so cool. I mean, changing his name and all that kind of stuff, and I mean, that's badass.
It is bad because I will say, like, even while I was out there doing that show, I thought to myself, I should do something. I should say something. I should protest. I said something.
Well,
I
what are
did
you supposed
nothing
to do? We get,
except for a little bit of
but
like,
why would you want to
comments
make?
in my act.
That's all you can do. I mean, yes. Can you do more? Yes. Do you want to be that person? You're
I wish I were, is what I'm
that's what
saying.
your podcast is for.
I
But,
know, but
when it's
a
like
part of
Sarah,
me
remember,
was, yeah.
sorry, when we were opening for Sarah Silverman,
Hmm.
I mean, there are people there that just people hate Sarah Silverman. There's lots of people because she has a lot of political views, but she made it very clear to us she doesn't do any of the political stuff in her act because that's not the forum.
Oh, she doesn't.
She does not.
She does a little bit,
A
right?
very tiny bit, but really she doesn't talk the way her complete real extreme left views do not come out on stage at a festive gig when everybody just wants to see her be funny. She seems to get that that's an important thing to do.
Like, who was it? Dick Gregory was great at doing political humor.
He
Like
was good at both.
but I think the thing is like you have to be good at it, and if you're not good at it, your attempt will fail in a
Yeah.
sense. So you
Well, that's
won't
why I like
really,
Bill Maher. I think Bill
yeah.
Maher runs a good gamut with clearly being outspoken of his political beliefs, but I think he's very funny in them. But you could say that about anybody that you like, or if you believe what they believe. So, but you do take the risk when you're a political comedian. You're definitely, losing one side. But in this day and age, you figure everybody's like that. I mean, either people are going to like you or they're going to hate you. I mean, one bad tweet and you're going to lose half your audience.
Right.
But
Nowadays,
you're good at, your comedy isn't that way. It's not
I
It's
mean,
not
I do it. I'm
political. I mean, you
subtle.
are political in the way, like that awesome bit you have about, the pronouns and stuff like that. So in that sense, you're telling your political views, but you do it in the most perfect way that everyone can enjoy. And, think about it too. I mean, this is what makes you such a good comic, is that you get up there, you talk about being black, and you talk about issues that you're talking about on this show, but you make them so wrong word, but vanilla, so everybody can get it and get into it
I'm not
and
preachy.
think. No, you're not preachy, and that's probably the best kind of comic to be. Although there
Shake a
are,
dang dang.
but there are comics that you want to see be preachy because that's what we like about them. But you seem to play both
I've
ways.
always hated
So
preachy people. That's why.
yeah,
Like
but
I
you're so
never
good
want to tell
because,
people what to
I
do.
don't know half of the stuff sometimes you're talking about, and I'm fascinated by listening to your material, and then I learn stuff from your act, and that's the best kind of comedy that there is, where, a comedian is opening your eyes on something. That's when you know you're
Without
really a good
with
teacher.
it being like it's sneaky too, because it's
Yeah.
like I saw this man in the front row. I mean, I think he was from Kentucky, which let
Ugh.
me just say I never stop in Kentucky.
We love Marcy, but that's about where it ends. Kentucky sucks. They can suck it.
Ooh, and
Everybody there sucks.
he had on a white suit like he was the colonel. And let me tell you, I went into that pronoun joke, and his whole body shook. And I said, I was just wondering. I said, I did that joke just to see if you. I said
Oh,
that
but
joke
they
was to get you.
see, but if
Look, it
somebody's
got you.
cool, they know you're awesome, you know?
You can also bridge the gap sometimes with comedy in ways that are sort of, subtle. I don't beat you in the head with. I noticed that was happening with a lot of comedians where they were taking topics and then doing jokes about the topics. And mine is, this is just my life experience, and this is what I feel passionate about. Through the life experience you will learn. And so for me, I guess my experience in Tulsa it was just so it was heavy, man. I will say I never felt, you can feel the ghosts there. You could feel it. It was
Are
weird.
you gonna do an entire
Mm.
podcast about it? Because you should, I guess, right?
I did on the last one I talked. Oh, see, the last one, who did I have? The one that's coming out this
Yeah,
week
it hasn't
is
come out yet.
with Maya Rudolph.
Oh, wow, cool.
Maya de Georgia. I mean,
Oh, that's too bad because Maya Rudolph is awesome.
not Maya Rudolph. I
She's
would
a
have loved to have
really
had
nice
her.
person.
Maya de Giorgio, comedian and a professor of American Studies from Maryland,
Who's that
Maryland,
cool black professor, Cornell something or other? Where's he been?
Cornell West.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still talking shit.
Oh, he's an
I've
interesting
went to go
fellow.
see him, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. He is really profound and smart and brilliant, but
Yeah.
his stance on Obama, I couldn't jive with
'Cause
that.
I'd like to go see him
I was
speak.
like, I'm
I
done.
always liked him.
I always like men who speak to a certain extent, and then they start going into that preachy tone, like I was telling you. And I'm like, I don't like you trying to
Oh, was
hyper
he
me
saying
to
that
your
Obama
water.
was doing bad stuff, or
Yeah, he had a lot. He had a lot of stuff he was saying that I was like, I'm not
but he
into.
is
I
an
don't want to hear
intellect,
this.
and,
Yeah, but intellects are very deceptive, and they're very conniving, and they're very smart. And look, preachers are preachers because they are good at getting a group of people together to
that's
follow
true.
them.
Good
The
point.
parishioners are like, "Oh, you're so good." There was a
I mean,
pastor that used to sing, and I was like, I went every week. I became Baptist because his singing was so amazing.
wow.
And he was a white guy who was a Hell's Angel, and it was this church, and I used to go by myself, Juskow. That's how good he was. And then
Wow.
one day he said something about interracial relationships,
Oh, that's
and
a
he
no-no.
said it just slipped in. And my aunt and uncle were there. My aunt was Polish and my uncle black, and I'm like 12 years old, and I'm looking at, I was like, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Y'all here? And no one said nothing. And he just kept mouthing off about interracial, how it's a sin. And I said, what are we going to keep going here? What's going on?
Well, he
And-
was right, but nobody listened. They're getting married every day. Nobody cares. Now it's on the Disney Channel. Oh,
I don't know,
black
D.
and
I don't
white.
know if that. I don't know what
Remember,
truth he
I'm
thought.
all into interracial as long as they're very pretty people.
Yeah, I don't know about Cornell West. I get worried with any man who talks too much. I'm like, all right, let's put a cap on this.
But it's true, folks. She does it to me all the time.
Yeah. Why
She
don't we
puts a
go
cap
into
on me
some
all
of
the
our
time.
lovely reviews that we got
All right.
from one of your friends, even? Yeah. Yeah.
One of my friends?
Memo. Remember the review I sent you on Memo?
I didn't get one from Memo.
No, I
Unless he
sent
uses
you.
a stage name.
No. I sent the review that you have is about Memo.
Oh, about Memo. Oh, I see. Okay.
So just to remind you, we do this because I'm promoting my podcast. It's called Friends Like Us. You go to that link. Oh, hey, Smitty. Are you going to be here next weekend for the House Festival on Sunday in the park with Lil Ray? My podcast is called Friends
what are
Like
you talking
Us.
about?
Go to the Linktree underneath. You see the Friends Like Us is in the corner. And I'm also wearing a t-shirt that says Friends Like Us. This is not the podcast. I just
Are
want to
you sure
remind
this
you.
isn't the podcast?
No, not with the white man.
You
Go
just said you
ahead.
had Memo on just because he's Mexican.
No, and he's also he's an activist.
He's an idiot. Comes from upbringing. Parents are idiots too. So the first review comes from Naisha Wright, or Pink Mumbo Sauce.
Oh.
Loved this episode. Every time I listen to Friends Like Us podcast, I leave feeling nurtured, nourished, healed, enlightened, uplifted, encouraged, empowered. I could go on and on and on. So refreshing and real, down to earth. Thank you, Marina, for sharing your friends with us.
Thank you.
You never had a negative review, huh?
I mean, we have, but that one is just one of the best reviews. Nourished. Ooh.
Well, this one's pretty good too. But and let me just say, I think I read these a lot better than Evelyn. Yeah, let me read it like Evelyn. Every time I listen to just kidding. I want people to make fun of me, so it's okay. And then Evelyn will give me shit next week. This is from Monica Jack. Hi, Marina. I'm a fellow Chicagonian. What is it?
Chicagonian. Yeah.
I don't know anything about Chicago, but now a Houston transplant. I've been listening to your podcast maybe since 2019. I wanted to let you know you are amazing in capital letters, exclamation point. The last couple of podcasts have had absolutely astounding, she wrote it wrong, but have had absolutely astounding with intelligent guests and conversations. Yesterday's podcast was so informative. Please have him back again. I foresee you on Sirius XM. I guess she was talking about Memo, but I find that very difficult.
What up, cuz? Yeah, she was talking about
very difficult to believe.
She said he was informative, which he was. He talked a lot about
informative.
CLT. I didn't know a lot about land trust.
No, CPT, Colored People Time.
Shut your CLT. I didn't know that he worked so hard to get land owned in Queens by the community. That's impressive. You didn't know that?
No, I did know, but he's annoying because he was one of those people that put Amazon out of which would have created a bunch of jobs for people.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, I talked over.
No, it's all right. Please, you never have to budget. No, it just he was one of the people invested in not having Amazon go to Queens, which would have provided many jobs. I will never understand.
I'm going to say this because of Memo. I understand exactly how that's not true. Did you ever ask him?
Of course, I've asked him 100 times. I just never listen to anything he has to say. But besides that, I know he really is a heavy activist. I know he gets fresh vegetables from
Well, that was the original reason I really called him. I called him to complain about the farmers.
He's very serious. He was the first one to have an electric car. In fact, he got a diesel before that. He does care, and he puts his money where his mouth is. And
you are on the list. You are on the Smitty shitty list. How dare you, Smitty, come here and not say hi to me and go on all this house music adventure and not tell me about it? You are on the list, my friend.
Just
All
made
right,
the list,
so
buddy.
he knows. He knows. Look, he said, I think I just put my. Yes, you did. You just put yourself on the goddamn list. Anyway, what I was Memo was so clear on the fact that Amazon, and this is a fact that I did not know, that the jobs that they were going to offer are to people who are not going to stay in the community. There are people who are high
Maybe
level
commuting.
positions. So like someone like my brother John, who went to Stanford, is going to work at those type of jobs. And they're there only for the job at the time, and then they're going to leave. So it's not feeding into the community. And also, they will monopolize the community. Once they're there, right, they can start making decisions
That's true. Yeah, I see your
in the
point. That's a good.
well, it's his point. And he was able to break it. You gotta listen to that episode because I didn't know this. I was the same way. I was actually like, oh, I order from Amazon all the time. You're providing jobs. I don't understand. What's the problem? But I didn't realize the problem is not these jobs aren't going to the people who actually live there. And you're also not providing anything to the schools or the kids in that community. That's a problem.
Yeah, and he is very serious about this. He's talking about Sunnyside, Queens, for one. He's a big participant there. His kid does go to school there and everything, and he's kind of the king of Sunnyside. He
He
does do a
cares
lot
about
of.
his
He
community.
cares about his community. I
And
think a
that's
lot
the
of
key.
Spanish people feel that way. They're very good at that. Mexicans.
Everybody, no, look, what we just talked about in Tulsa. Think about that. That's a black community that cared about their community. But what is the narrative about black people that you get all the time? That
They
they
don't
don't
care about
care
their
about their
community,
community,
right?
that that where they live. I remember a comedian saying to me when he was driving through a black community that was nice, he was like, I've never seen this. I didn't know this existed. So that narrative is wrong. It's also like the neighborhoods that you see that are like that, that's intentionally like that. People do
So this
things
is
to
new
these
information.
neighborhoods like drugs. You watch all of the movies about Harlem and the mafia and the drugs that they put in Harlem, and then you expect these people to survive. They have it's predator lending, redlining, food deserts, um no access to really good education, and then drug and how is a community supposed to survive? So, and then all of that, you've got a few people who know how to fight, and someone like Memo cares about his community is a great example of how you, in like me in Harlem, you better watch out.
You see what TBS just wrote?
Oh, let's see here.
It's good
It
for
starts
your
with love,
Patreon
which is
subscribers.
what the world needs now. I love your interviews. I'm so glad I'm on the Golden Patreon tier and can be part of viewing the recording via backstage. Thank you for providing it. You are very welcome, TV. It was great having you were there with Maya and the professor. Was not that a great? She was talking about food and the shaming of food. And you know how we get annoyed when we hear about the shaming of food? Like it sounds like a teenager trying to say, please don't tell me what to eat.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me what to do anymore. It's shameful. You're shaming me. I want this sandwich. It's not that. What she's talking about is how we shame black people out of their own um situation. Like, for example, if a mother goes to McDonald's to get food for her kids and we judge that woman, you also are not looking at her circumstances for like, or any woman for that matter, it could be black or white, going to McDonald's. Why is she doing that? There's a lot of reasons why.
Well,
You got
sometimes they go because they have a lot of discounts.
They have a lot of discounts. They're in a rush. They have no father who's like taking care of the
Well, first of
kids.
all,
And
I've had this problem my whole life. You know, eating healthy is expensive,
yes.
and that is half of the issue. I've been
Yeah.
trying to eat healthy, but it's very pricey. And over COVID, I got Nutrisystem, which was helpful, and that's just mostly portion control, but very pricey. I just took a chance, for a month. But yeah, that's half the issue. So McDonald's is, and of course everything is going up, but it's a very it used to be a very inexpensive way to feed your family. Now I'd have no idea what's happening. I mean, now because I buy it sometimes, just for myself it costs $40.
It is it is very expensive. And so it was interesting because I've done that shaming before about what people, me, I'm always like
Please, you do
yelling
it to
at
me all the time.
all the time, all the time.
Like when I have Monday night chicken wings.
I yell at Colin. Colin Quinn is always scared
Well,
when I
Colin Quinn
walk
has
in the
had 2
door.
heart attacks, so I could see yelling at him. I mean, that makes sense. We'll wait for my first one, then he can yell at me.
But this is such a layered conversation about food in a way that, and she said something, she corrected me in a way that I was like, oh, because I was like, well, the ignorance, like white people just don't know. She's like, no, they don't want to know. And I was like, no, I think they want to know. They just are, no, sometimes they just don't want to know. And I was like, oh, it's a hard truth. But, I often said being black is hard enough. Why would you want to step into our shoes? It's kind of what Chris Rock said. As rich as I am, and how many of you in this room would want to be me? Do you remember that when he said that?
No.
As much money as I have and success, a lot of you don't want to be me because it's hard to be black in America. It is hard. Now I don't think
Meanwhile,
all of
him
us
and
walk around.
Chappelle tonight are playing the O2 Arena in London, so it's hard to.
But as much as great as that is, think about it, the struggles. But I will say this, right? We have good days. I had Judy Gold on my show one time. She goes, as bad as it is for Jews, Marina, it's not like being black. And I was like, we
Yeah.
have good days, Judy.
No, you know how sometimes I'm referred to as a white person. It's fantastic.
Do you get referred to as a white person?
It makes me so happy. So yes, being black is much more different. It's much harder.
It's harder to just walk.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times.
I mean, everybody knows I'm Jewish because I act Jewy and I look Jewy, but I'm still white.
You do?
Well,
your eyebrows don't say. It says Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Well, sometimes it's just not that way, and I act. When I'm arguing about a check at a restaurant, full on Jew. But
Oh
again,
my God.
it's it is much easier to be a white Jew than it would be black in general.
It's hard. Look, there are things that are, but there's. I was not raised to think that way. I was raised to do and live my life and do incredible work. And I never thought that anything was set against me. There was not a point. There wasn't until I was in comedy.
Grew up in a really awesome neighborhood too.
I grew up in a lot of awesome, but I will say I experienced racism as a young child. Don't get me wrong, in Highland, but I never thought that opportunities were held for me. Right. I never worked with that in my mind. I just did what I needed to do. It wasn't until I was in the comedy scene and I started to notice that certain people were getting things regardless of how funny I was.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Because you're a woman or because you're black? Because I didn't think.
And so a lot of times
I would think is more than black because I always felt funny is funny and black wasn't an issue when you're in comedy.
No, not when I was coming up. How many black women did you know? Like there were
none.
Very few.
But I think that's more of being a woman than being black.
No, it was both. It was both. Look, I had the owner of the comic strip tell me, he said, with you here, I killed 2 birds with one stone. I got woman and I got black.
Yeah.
He would never say that to a guy.
No, he wouldn't.
So that's how people were viewing me, but I wasn't aware of it. I was just being funny. I never thought.
I never even met a woman comedian. I started in '83. I never saw a woman comedian until 1990.
Oh wow, yeah. So, but there's certain.
But there were lots of black guys. That's why. But
that's totally different. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, a black guys, black Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy.
Right,
We can we
right.
can we can break. If you ask someone, tell you their comic that they know, they're gonna list some, Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy,
Right.
Bill Cosby, But like, if you ask them about women comics, they take a pause sometimes and they go, some of we're getting better. It's much better,
Oh yeah.
much better.
So much better.
Tiffany Haddish,
Oh, you're
but
talking about black women comics.
yeah, specifically now, I think for black women, female, comics out there, it's gotten so much better that
It is better, but you're right. There's still it's still not a big list, is it?
no, and
Mm.
and hands down, if I go to your city and I perform like Michigan, Grand Rapids, you better go and see me. Look at how I did that. Oh God, I didn't know if I could bring it back. I don't know if I could bring it back full circle, but I did it. Here's a link to this article about Tulsa. I'm gonna just put it in here. There's it's called
Oh, Paula Poundstone.
tulsaworld.com.
Well, that's all we had back then. Her and
Ella DeGeneres.
Judy Tenuta, and just everybody just sucked.
Yeah, so
What's that other one? Paula Poundstone. Then there was the Rita Rudner. Oh, that's all we had back then. That's why I like Wendy Liebman, because she was like
I love
somebody that was
Wendy.
like getting where, oh my God, I think women could be funny, because Wendy Liebman is really, really great. And I just hadn't seen a really great
Mom's
woman like that.
Mabley.
Sure, but she was a special.
But she had to
She had no
like,
teeth, like, it was
yeah.
interesting, She, just to be. I mean, Wendy Liebman was Gilda Radner, but she was more sketch, than stand up. I mean, obviously, there's Gilda. My women comedy heroes is Carol Burnett, Andrea Martin, and Catherine O'Hara from SCTV. And Gilda Radner would be up there too, but that's all sketch. I certainly didn't have any stand-up female heroes,
And I
because it
think
just
on some
didn't
more,
exist
oh,
except for
absolutely.
really bad ones.
Well, we're talking about like back in the day. Like, here's the thing, like
Phyllis
people
Diller, but I never saw her do stand-up.
wouldn't that be something?
Joan Rivers,
Oh yeah, Joan Rivers.
she was the
Wanda
one. Yeah.
Sykes, but this just,
Wanda Sykes later on, yeah.
and Marsha Warfield, who still performs at the Comedy Cellar in Vegas. And it, like, there's a part of me, I have to tell them, if they send me to Vegas, I need to be around her. That woman is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God,
Obviously,
Marsha Warfield, are you kidding?
I
She
only
is
know her from
amazing.
Night Court.
Night Court. She's so funny. If you watch her on the roast with Richard Pryor, there's a roast with her. She's
That's
hands
when she was
down.
on Night Court already, right?
She's so funny.
So I
She's
didn't know she was
dry
a stand-up
humor.
comic. Hi,
Mm,
Catalina.
yes. I mean, my God, amazing. Hello, Catalina. Yeah, we mentioned Mom's Mabley. Yeah, you late. We're about to sign off in like a minute because my friend Lois is going to pick me up. Your friend.
She is. Why? Because you're performing today?
She's taking. Yeah, I'm doing this.
Really,
I'm going
really
to the
so
cellar.
down on her.
We're still cool. It was fun. We're gonna go and we're gonna hang out. We're gonna go to the cellar. But don't forget, everyone, to check out this podcast this week. I gotta tell you, the past 3 episodes are amazing, and the one that's coming out next week as well, with Maya DiGiorgio and
I like it better when it was Maya
Dr.
Rudolph.
Psyche is her name. I know. I asked her. I said, "That's really your Psyche? That's
Wanda
your name?"
Sykes was the best.
But
She is the
Dr.
best. She's
Psyche,
still
I
good.
love Wanda Sykes. And I've been around Wanda Sykes, and I'm always still starstruck when I'm around her. I'm like, oh my God. Inside my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm hanging over Wanda
I got a
Sykes.
great picture of us from the 90s.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
She's so smart. She's so funny. She doesn't do the jokes that you expect. And I would argue, I listen to a lot of comics, young comics coming up now, and I've seen a lot of comics. A lot of comics that are young and new, they don't know how to tell jokes still, and they don't have a punchline. And that's not telling jokes. That's just like you're like trying to trick the audience into liking you with charm. But a lot of them, like, you listen to Wanda, I mean, she's just a brilliant joke writer. She's so good. She's my favorite. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I cannot say anything
She's also got,
bad
but
about
it's
her.
more than that too, because she's also got the swagger,
She's so good.
the
She's so good.
energy and the way she tells it, her voice.
And she matured so well in this business. This is a
Yeah.
business that has ageism is like real, right? And Wanda just she's stayed so relevant throughout all of this without being like, because comics do get older and they kind of age out, like their material. I won't say who it is, but you'll listen to them and you'll be like, you sound like you're from the 80s and you need to
I'm
be.
right here. You can just say my name. Everybody knows it. Jesus.
Oh, my flowers look so lovely. Look at that.
They do.
It's from the farmer's market today.
Oh.
Let me see. No one bothered me today at the farmer's market.
Oh. I'm
I
just
don't
upset.
think.
It kept me up at night because I was like, I can't go anymore because I have to work and it's pissing me off. I don't suppose the
Well,
farmers market's open on Monday. This Monday being
no,
Labor
but the
Day.
one in Union in by 14th Street, Union Square, I think. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
that
all the
place sucks. I
time.
like the Harlem one.
The Harlem one
No, I
is
just want to go
nice.
with you.
All right, we do have to go, but Dave is
Why?
not old. He's got the vintage vibe. Oh, there you go.
It's a little bit of both.
Oh, DJ Eric Prince, where you been? Where you
Why is
at?
everybody coming in at 4?
I
Is
know. What's
it
going
daylight
on?
savings time? Did we miss it?
Did we miss it? It's weird that everyone's coming in at 4.
Yeah.
Well, DJ Eric Prince, we had someone on earlier who wanted, I think they're still here. Was it D or Mr. who wanted an explanation of house music? But I told him to do his own research. Was that you, Mr.? I told him to do his own research. Do you have something a link you can put in here to help them out so they can do their work? Catalina. Well, next week. Oh, are you? Okay.
Oh, yes. There, which means she'll be 2 hours or 1 hour ahead. Because she's in Chile.
Chile.
Or 1 hour behind. I don't know.
Oh, hopefully tomorrow we'll be changing our constitution.
Oh my God. Oh,
Is that because the voting and
yeah, I know she's voting. She said she was voting tomorrow. We're changing daylight savings time next year. I don't know why they can't just do it this year so it doesn't get dark at 4:30 anymore.
I know I'm not looking forward to.
Oh, nobody looks forward to that. I
Can
don't
you
know why
believe the summer is like over?
Yeah, that happens all the time. And believe me, this is the best time of the year, especially if you live in New York City. This is the best time of the year starting on, right now. The fall is the best and it goes so quickly. Before you know it, it will be Thanksgiving and then Christmas. It goes so fast. It's such an awesome time.
But you know what never goes fast? January.
No, that's the worst time to live here. That I'm telling you, if I had the money, I believe I'd live in California from January 1 to May 15th.
March is May, right?
May.
It's so long.
Because you'd fool yourself thinking you come back in April. It still sucks all the way from January to May. It doesn't get nice here until May 15th.
Yeah, when you look out that window, I don't know if did you ever see the blood moon?
Yeah.
I was talking to Keith one night on the phone and I said, the moon. And he goes, shut up. I don't want to hear about He goes, I don't want to hear about your dumb moon.
Well,
but the moon is incredible.
On my birthday, I was in New Jersey with my friend Laura, and I was explaining to her how, and Arthur, Liza Minnelli says the moon is following her because we had seen it that night in Jersey. Then we rode back to the city over the GW Bridge, and I played the Arthur theme because she didn't know the movie. And then when I got home, I had to park my car and then I have to take the bike back. When I got home, the moon was right outside my window. I'm like, hey, the moon is following me. I took a picture. I showed her. I was like, the moon is following me. Just like in the movie. If you get drunk between the moon and New York City.
Of course, I always like to be a Debbie Downer and talk about how I couldn't believe how his life ended. The guy who played Arthur. What's his name?
I showed
Dudley Moore.
I showed you the gravesite 2 weeks ago, right?
Oh, that's right. Because I was like, I got kind of obsessed with what happened to him. Because I was just like, oh my God, he was so funny. And then,
yeah. Oh my God, he was great. Yeah, I guess what did he have? Cancer or prostate cancer? Or something that he died. Something happened.
Something. It
and
was bad.
maybe it could have been. I mean, I know he was playing a drunk, but I think he
But then
actually
he
was
had
a
a
drunk.
speech thing that because everyone was used to him playing a drunk.
Yeah.
So then when he actually had the thing, they're like, oh, come on, we get it. You're still
Yeah.
drunk. And
You
he's
don't
like, no,
always
no, no.
have to play a
It's
drunk,
like-
right? Because then he was in other movies where you're like, what is he always playing the drunk? But right,
But
yeah, no, it's
yeah.
so sad because he was so cute and so
Mm.
funny, so brilliantly funny. Yeah, Catalina, that song is from that movie. I told you that 100 times.
100 times, Catalina. 100. I see your question marks. All
Just,
right. So we have to get out of here because I got to take a shower.
I wasn't sure what you were going to say. Let's start with SH. And I was like, ugh,
Oh,
gross.
no. But I have to go. Thank you all so much for being here. Juskow, tell them where they can find you.
Well, we have our big Comedy Cellar nightly show starting the new season is starting this Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We have Nick Griffin. Next week, the 13th, we have Dino Stamatopoulos, and he's worked on so many shows, Mr. Show for one, and the Ben Stiller Show, which I think he won an Emmy for, and he's a really interesting guest. And then hopefully the week after we may have Marina. She's going to tell
I'm
me.
trying. I have to figure out my schedule. And also, you remember I'm still being really careful, so I don't know how to.
This is in that podcast room where nobody. It's just me and.
I know, but
Mike.
I when I go inside, I still wear a mask.
So.
Can I wear a mask?
Oh, that would suck. But you can. We'll take you any way we can get you.
Because that's everyone still is like Marina's the only one still wearing a mask. They all make fun of me. I don't care. If you let me talk, if I get that booster, the one with the for the there's a booster
All right,
shot you can get.
listen. All I know is you're down at the comedy show all the time. You're going tonight, but then you won't come when it's my show.
No, but I wear a mask until I'm on stage, and I'm only on stage for like 10 minutes.
Well, if that's the issue, then wear a mask. We'll take whatever we can get so we can get you on.
I'm just letting you know, and I may have to switch the microphone out.
Well, I don't care about that.
Okay, so you all heard
care
it
about
here.
that?
You see how extra I am. This is what I do. I even go on stage. I tell the audience, I was like, this is what you're gonna get. Okay. But thank you. You can. Did you tell you? Oh, you told them everything. Also, again, the Linktree. It's scrolling beneath. I will put it in here as well.
And she'll be in Grand Rapids, Michigan this Thursday, September 8th.
Yes, and
probably wondering why I know that date, because that is the start of the NFL season, folks. How are you?
How are ya? And I'll be there until the 10th. So if you have some friends in Michigan, let them know I'm there. Tell them to come see me. It's important. Okay. And the Linktree is in there so you can get access to the podcast, the actual podcast. This is not the podcast. My podcast. This is the live show to promote the podcast, which features women of color. Obviously, Juskow is not.
What? I can't believe you're saying that.
Juskow is not a woman of color.
What? My name is Marina. This is the way I talk.
Oh my God. It's like
you can't
I heard
cut me out now.
Believe it or not, Louis C.K. did an impression and it made me laugh so recently. Did I do it for he was on stage and he was talking about with Black Jesus on the cross.
I don't remember.
He's like, come on, man, get me down from here. Shit. And it actually we were all in the hallway dying. All of us were Black and we were all dying. So anyway, I don't forget, go to the Linktree, check it out, the podcast, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I love you all. Please stay safe. Please wear your mask still if you want to. Catalina. Okay. Until you get that booster or whatever for the variant, which is available soon. And just wash your hands. I've seen some of you not washing your hands.
Calcium deposits in his brain. Oh, poor
okay. Oh, I don't want to end up. Oh, no. So thank you so much. And remember,
Bye, Stace.
Black Lives Matter. Bye.
Bye.